Alright, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're answering the question, do you need clipless pedals? But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure that little bell icon next to that is checked off. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content we got on this channel. So right onto the video, we're answering the question, do you need clipless pedals on your bike? So if you guys have been on the channel for quite a while, you know that I ride clipless pedals on my Superfly, my cross-country mountain bike, as well as my road bike, my Trek 1.2, but everything else I ride flat pedals on. And I'm a pretty good proponent to clipless pedals have their merit, and they're a good thing to use at certain times. So we're going to talk about the two different options today. First, we're going to talk about clipless pedals, and we'll talk about the pros and cons and why you use clipless pedals, and then we'll talk about flat pedals, and we'll see if you really need clipless pedals on your bike or if you're perfectly fine with some flat pedals. So let's get a little bit closer to the bike and we'll start talking about clipless pedals. So starting off with clipless pedals. So over here on the Superfly, I've ran a couple different clipless pedals in the past. So I've ran a Crank Brothers Egg Beater, ran the Crank Brothers Candies, and we're right now back to just your standard Shimano pedal, so I can try these out for the season and see if I feel any difference and kind of decide which one I want to ride and which one I like best. So that's what we're running right now, but essentially all clipless pedals work the same way. Essentially, there are jaws here on the pedal. There's on a mountain bike pedal, there's two sets. On a road bike pedal, there's generally one. And then on your shoe, you have a cleat that corresponds to your pedal, so it's specific based on the pedal. And what that allows you to do is get your pedal like this and clip into your pedal just like that. So what that does is it keeps your foot in the optimal position for power. So the pedal is always going to be positioned right into the ball of your foot, right where it needs to be to get the most power out of each of your pedal strokes. It also helps you not move your foot either. So if you're in a kind of a little bit technical section, you can stay attached to your bike a little bit more, and you don't have to worry about falling off. You're pretty much attached to your bike. Of course, getting out of this is super easy. You just twist your feet, you just twist your heel just a little bit and your shoe comes right off. Super easy. So a lot of times when I hear about clipless pedals, and a lot of times people talk about them, they say, oh, that's what the pros use, I don't need clipless pedals. You have to be really good at riding to use clipless pedals. And that is definitely not the case. There are a lot of people out there who ride clipless pedals that are not professionals, not anywhere close to racing. They just enjoy the feeling of clipless pedals, and I'm one of those people. I love the feeling of clipless pedals on my mountain bike and my road bike. For myself personally, obviously my mountain bike's a hardtail. I like the feeling of being attached to my bike and being able to feel everything through the bike. So that's why I ride clipless pedals. It makes me feel more attached to my bike. Along with that, I generally don't ride super technical terrain, so I'm not in a huge worry about possibly falling off and need to unclip, walk around. Not in a huge hurry about that. Mostly ride cross-country style trails and fun flowy trails. So that's not a huge deal for me. For someone who rides super technical stuff or does dirt jumps or rides in the snow or whatever, you know, having a flat pedal and being able to get off and walk around, or having the ability to bail a little bit quicker than a clipless pedal, just a second quicker, that can make a big difference. But clipless pedals are definitely not for just the pros. Anybody can get a set up clipless pedals and stick them on their bike and be ready to go. And I've shown that beginners can use clipless pedals. I have these as well as my Shimano pedals on my road bike that I showed you guys how to install. And they're very easy to clip in and out of, very easy to get set up. Tons of adjustment available for a beginner to be able to clip out easy, stay clipped in, whatever their preference is, but it is super easy to do that. And it is definitely something a beginner can use. The other thing that tends to scare people off from clipless pedals is that there is an investment to get into them. Obviously, you buy a new bike and you're gonna get pedals that come on the bike. They're gonna be a basic plastic pedal, but they're gonna be something that can get you out riding and get you out going. Along with that, you have your basic shoes you're wearing when you bought the bike, so it's not like you need to buy anything extra if you're going to use a flat pedal. With clipless pedals, you're first off going to have to buy the pedal set first, so you have to buy the pedal set. Generally comes with cleats, so you don't have to worry about those separately. And then of course with those, you're going to have to buy a specialized set of shoes. And these specialized set of shoes are going to allow you to mount that cleat on the bottom and pretty much have that stiffness and everything in order to get the optimum power out of these pedals. So there's a little bit more investment to getting into a set of clipless pedals than there would be just a standard set of flat pedals that comes on your bike. You do have to invest a little bit into this in order to start getting the returns of a clipless pedal. However, once you have the stuff, it's pretty easy to swap between clipless pedals. You essentially swap the pedals out. You already have the shoes, which are generally one of the bigger investments is going to be the shoes. So you already have all that ready to go. It's as simple as changing your pedals out and changing the cleats on your shoes. So once you have the stuff, it's pretty easy, but that initial investment, it is a little bit to get into a clipless pedal setup. So let's go and talk about flat pedals now. Alright, so moving on to talk about flat pedals. So pretty much a flat pedal is going to come on any bike you buy, wherever you buy it, department store, bike shop, whatever you buy, it's only going to come with a set of flat pedals. The only things that are not going to come with a set of flat pedals are going to be your very high-end bikes. So if you order something online that's very high-end, a lot of times it's not going to come with pedals because they expect you to have a preference on what kind of pedals you would like, and you're just going to run your own. So why throw a pair of cheap plastic pedals in there? But for the most part, flat pedals, you're going to see them pretty much everywhere. I'd say about 90% of people run flat pedals, and there's a pretty obvious reason for that. You can get on this bike right now without any special shoes, wherever you are, and just ride. Makes it super simple, right? Super simple to just go and ride. And that's really the biggest thing with the flat pedal is it's just easy. Simple. You can get off the bike, there's no worry about clipping in and out, and it's just there. So there are a couple differences with flat pedals. So obviously, these ones here are the Puromas. These are the cheapest flat pedal. I did a whole review on them before, talking about what I thought of them. These are the cheapest ones out there. Obviously, these are a nylon platform with the metal pins in it. Of course, you have basic just a nylon pedal, no metal pins at all, and then you have a full metal pedal with metal pins. So there's a few different options out there, just based on what you want, what kind of riding style you want to have, and how much of a big deal you want to make out of it, how many pedal strikes you plan on taking, how much abuse you plan on giving them. For most people, something like this nylon pedal with the metal pins is going to work great because it provides a lightweight pedal while still having traction with the pins. And if you have a nice pair of shoes, even if it's just your regular shoes, you stick that guy on there, and realistically, if your foot's in there putting pressure down, you're not moving anywhere, right? Like, that's not even that hard, and it's not moving anywhere because it's stuck to this pedal. So if you have a nice shoe, it makes a great attachment to the pedal, makes it work even better. Even if you have a basic shoe, like my Vans here, slap those guys on. You know, it moves a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to stay in that position. So what are some pros of the flat pedal? Obviously, you can get on and off super easy. They're also compatible with anything. Anybody can hop on your bike and ride your bike. Works great. Along with that, it's easy to get off. If you're in a technical situation, technical riding, and you need to get off in a hurry, you just step off. That's all you gotta do. There's no twisting the heel, none of that. No worrying about trying to get out of clips. You just step off and you're set. You're safe. Nothing is going on at all. And that works great. The other nice thing with a flat pedal, going along with you just wear regular shoes, you can park your bike and just walk around everywhere. You don't have the clink 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 of a clipless pedal shoe. So you have a lot more options with a flat pedal. Downfalls of this, so obviously with a clipless pedal, the point was to keep your foot in an optimum power position all the time. With the flat pedal, you don't have that. You can put your foot in that spot, but there's no guarantee it's going to stay there. Obviously, the pins are made to help keep your foot on the pedal and keep your foot in that position, but there's no guarantee your foot's gonna be in that high output position all of the time. So that is one of the downfalls. The second thing is, of course, these are bigger than a clipless pedal. If we go ahead and take my Shimano pedal here and hold it up to here, obviously, this thing is probably 3 times as big as as my Shimano pedal, which realistically isn't one of the smallest ones out there. So it makes a big difference in size. You're much more likely to strike a flat pedal on a rock than you are with a clipless pedal. So a little more likely to hit stuff if you have a flat pedal on there. Well, that flat pedal is going to work the same as a clipless pedal was. So let's go answer the question, do you need clipless pedals? So do you need clipless pedals for your bike? As a clipless pedal user, I'm going to tell you, no, you do not need clipless pedals for your bike. Riding flat pedals will do fine for probably 90% of the people out there, even possibly more. Now, do I recommend you try clipless pedals at least once in your riding life? Yes, I recommend you try them at least once. A lot of people will try them that one time and really enjoy the feeling of clipless pedals and really like that. And that will convert them to clipless pedals for certain types of riding. Now, again, I'm one of those people that has a certain types of riding that uses clipless pedals for cross-country racing, cross-country riding, and road riding. Those are pretty much what I use it on, as well as a little bit of light trails. However, I don't get to do that much technical riding, so for me, I don't really worry about it. I've also been riding clipless pedals long enough that the motion of kicking your heel out to unclip is very easy, very quick, and it really won't make much of a difference to me if I was riding technical riding. So for me personally, I will ride clipless pedals in those situations. Everything else, I'll ride flat pedals. There's nothing wrong with flat pedals. So for those of you riding clipless pedals, congratulations, nice job, you're riding clipless pedals. For those of you riding flat pedals, congratulations, you're riding flat pedals. It's gonna be a war that goes on for forever. We're always gonna say the opposite of clipless pedals are better, flat pedals are better, whatever that may be. But I'll tell you, enjoy what you ride. Enjoy what you ride. Try the other one out every once in a while. That's why I switched to flat pedals on the Superfly for Sea Otter, is so that I can try out flat pedals again and get a good feel for it without having to deal with clipless shoes while I'm there. So hopefully you guys were able to learn something. If not, at least you found it entertaining, hopefully. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.